this one more time. There's some sound. Try. The sound is back? I just got a message. The sound is back. Oh my goodness. I'm on? It's a miracle. So I'm not going to touch anything else. And you can hear me okay, everybody? Okay. Hooray. Something good happened today. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. And we're going to start with about a 10-minute sit, and then a little chat, and then a little more mindfulness practice. So wherever you are in the space, take a breath. And tune into the support underneath you. Feel the weight of your body being received by the ground. And the ground has help, right? The ground, we're not actually sitting on the ground. I mean, unless you're outside somehow tuning in, right? You could be. But I'm going to make the assumption that we're inside. And so there's something between the ground and our body. There's foundation to whatever building you're in. And then there's probably some cement and some flooring material. Maybe there's carpet. There are layers between the ground and you. Let yourself be held by all those layers. Let yourself be received by the earth. Support comes in many forms, and it's often a team effort. So feel that team beneath you. And let it have you. It has you. Take some breaths. Know that the breaths you are taking are also part of that supportive foundation that's working as a team in layers between you and steady ground. So let your breath be part of that team. As you inhale next, root down onto whatever is supporting your seat. Like dig in. And then as you exhale, feel the uprising, the lifting against all the odds of gravity. We can sit up, we can stand up, we can be fully present, alert, awake, alive. And in the midst of this opposition of gravity drawing us down into the steady support beneath, and the insistence upward of beingness, we sit, we breathe, we feel, we love. As your mind takes its trips through its thought itinerary, know that the moment you notice where your mind is the moment you've returned home to presence. And celebrate that with a breath. Not with any admonishment that you went anywhere, but just a celebration of breath, full of presence, and presence full of breath. We are not programmed to sit in silent nothingness. It doesn't compute with our drive for survival, so it's hard. And any little glimpses of stillness that we can achieve or experience are beautiful gifts. And they're wrapped in breath. So let yourself receive that. Just a couple more minutes. Perhaps you've been able to settle into this rhythm of receiving the inhale and riding it out to its natural exhaled conclusion. Check in with the itinerary of your mind's dippings away into thought adventures. And come back and breathe and be. Enjoy the next full breath in and all the way back out. And then come back to an awareness of yourself in your space and whatever fine people you may have around you. I want to talk about the idea of progress this evening. This is part of the one set of yogic teachings that enumerates all of the obstacles between our seeking, grasping minds and mindful, loving, peaceful presence. And there are 9 enumerated obstacles, and they include things like illness and fatigue and doubt and carelessness and laziness and fear. And the one that has come up this week, just in the natural succession of the weeks of the season that I've been following, is a failure to perceive progress, an assumption that we're not getting anywhere. And this is from a 2nd century text called the Yoga Sutras, which had no sense of American politics because it didn't exist at the time. But it is finely fine. It is a very fine, appropriate lesson and message for us right now, regardless of where you sit on the political spectrum. Truly. So one of the reasons that it's so hard to believe that one is making progress in any realm, in the context of this teaching, it is progress along the realm of peaceful presence, of mindful quiet, in a yogic sense of yoking, creating union between body, mind, breath, and spirit. One of the reasons it's so difficult to perceive progress is that progress is slow. And our sense of space and time is quite distorted. An example is watching the sunset. If you've ever had a lovely opportunity to just sit or stand and watch the sun go down at a distance, you know that most of the time it doesn't look like it's moving. And there are a few 3-ish good reasons why it doesn't look like it's moving. The biggest reason is because it isn't. We are. Right? This is not news to anybody, but when we speak about the movements of the stars and the planets, we still have we speak in a manner that still suggests that we feel like we're the center of things, and we simply are not. You know, Galileo was imprisoned for the rest of his life for suggesting to the contrary. Of course, he was right, and we are not the center of the universe. The sun isn't even the center of the universe. It's the center of the galaxy, the whatever, of our planetary system. So that's one reason it looks like it's not moving, because we're the ones who are moving, and we're moving slowly. And then when we think about, well, are we moving? No, I'm just standing still waiting for the sun to go down. Well, we're not moving either. The earth is moving. And we don't feel the earth moving under our feet when we sit or stand still. We don't notice that we spin, and we don't notice that we revolve, and we don't ever feel like we've gone upside down as the earth is turning, depending on how close we are to the equator. We just don't notice these things because we're standing still. And so it's only in relation to something else. Progress, change, movement is all relative. There is no absolute, not even the sun, which is just a bunch of gases. And there's constant movement and change in the sun. There's no possible way that we can know that or see it. So we are always moving, but we can't feel it. There's always movement and change inside as well, with the organism of our manifested selves. We're constantly exchanging molecules of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Cells in our body are constantly dividing at a number and a magnitude that we could never count or understand. Our skin is constantly shedding. Our digestive system is constantly moving things in and through and down and out of us. And it's doing this constant work of separating the nutrients that we need for absorption to live a functional life, and the toxins that we don't, that get released, processed through the liver and the kidneys. And so all this movement that's happening, but it can be nearly invisible. And sometimes it's entirely invisible. So it's like it takes a leap of faith to trust that progress is being made, that change is happening, that we are evolving as individuals, as friends and neighbors, as community, as country, as planet, as universe. You know, this body of evidence, this biology and this science, it's really hard to see without the benefit of time. If you are a parent, if you have raised children, or maybe you have younger siblings or nieces and nephews, and you spend time with them, you don't see them growing before your eyes. You can't see that, but you can see the notches that you made on the wall to chart the growth. And then you look back one day, like maybe when you're about to sell your house, and you think, oh my goodness, there's the growth chart. We started here, and then we got here. And now we're moving along and growing in other ways. So only in relation to other dynamics do we really notice and see the nature of change. I'm going to get to the big stuff that might be on people's minds right now. But in the meantime, we're going to do another short sit, just about 10 minutes. And I want to invite you to tune into the nature of change and progress inside. And to start with, it's always the breath. It's the identifiable and very palpable evidence of vital change happening inside us and all around us. So notice that with your next mindful breath, there is a high probability of a shift in attention. All of a sudden, it's like, whoosh, we're here. And right now, right here in this sliver of a moment, everything's fine. And all of the changes, all of the progress that we've made as human living beings has led to this. And here it is. With that shift in awareness, you might become more present for your body and all of the miraculous work that it's doing on your behalf right now. The digestive system alone, a miraculous process that starts with you can feel and detect and sense the saliva in your mouth. And we have lots of evidence that that process alone, that process of progress and change from inside that absorbs nutrients and releases toxic waste on our behalf, functions better when we're paying attention to it, when we are shifting away from the stress response and into a rest and relax and digest response. Even just while you're eating, we know that slowing down, chewing the food, paying attention, breathing helps that process of transformation from food to energy to life force. If you're at home and the suggestion of that made you hungry, go grab a bite. Make it part of the practice. It is part of the practice. And keep coming back to your breath. You might notice the skin, your skin's receptivity to the air flowing around it. We can't feel the skin shedding its dead cells and awakening to its new fresh cells, but it's happening all the time. But you might be able to feel the air on your skin. You can recognize that, locate that as a perceptive awareness of progress. Proof that we are not static in our beingness. And what might be perceived as the biggest hindrance to a meditation practice is, in fact, one piece of proof that progress can be made, and that is the conscious mind's ability to move from thought to thought. We're not meant to shut that down, ever. We're meant to learn how to respond to those thoughts, to know that we can be the ones managing them from a higher conscious state and not be pulled around on a leash by those consciously moving thoughts. Just a couple more minutes. Looking for ways to rest awareness on whatever proof resonates most with you of progress, of change, of transformation. The existence of saliva in your mouth as representative of the beginning stages of the digestive system. Feeling of air moving on your skin. The power that you have to notice the changing nature of your thoughts. The moment that you notice that your mind went somewhere, celebrate that moment. Let it be a glorious homecoming celebration. And take a nice deep breath. Bring awareness back to your immediate surroundings. There's a saying that some of you may be familiar with, or an analogy. It's not a saying, it's an analogy that when you're sitting on a train, maybe you've had this experience, you're sitting on a train that's in the station, and people are still boarding. Train isn't going anywhere. And then, but you can see through the window the train on the track adjacent. And if that train starts to pull forward, it feels for a moment like you're moving backwards. Like not only are you not making any progress, but you're regressing. And that's been an analogy that's used in sociopolitical terms for one party feeling as if the world is going forward and therefore they're going backward. You could really apply it to either side of the metaphorical aisle. And I know that today, as we're speaking here in Virginia on November 3rd, 2021, many people are feeling like we're going backwards on that train, because another train that is fairly distasteful to many people in the state and in this community in particular has pulled forward with some pretty powerful aggressive energy. And it hurts and it's scary. And I know that the people feeling like forward progress on that train felt exactly this same way a year ago. And am I doing my math right? 12 years ago. And so the world turns and the pendulum is heavy. And because it's heavy, it is gonna swing. And there's no way around it, because even though it looks like the sun isn't setting, even though we know that the sun itself isn't moving, we are. And change happens. And it's just an inevitable part of being human. So if you are among those who are feeling left behind today, I would say the train isn't regressing. We're just finding new necessity for ways to get the train doesn't have wheels. I don't know. Anybody in the room know how a train goes forward? We have to find, it's not coal anymore. It used to be like shoveling coal into the engine. It's electricity, whatever it is. We have to find ways to make those sparks brighter and stronger and more powerful. That's how it works. And when we do that, then it's going to be the passengers on the other train. And if you're on that other train, know too that this will happen. And if you're on that other train and feeling like, yes, we've made some progress, we won, it's good now. Well, it's not going to be good forever. And the ideal thing is to check in through those windows and find ways to communicate and ways to see, well, what do we both need? What do we all want? How can we all perceive that no matter what we do, no matter how we speak, no matter what we believe, both of these trains are going to go forward. The earth is going to spin. The sun is going to burn out at some point. So what choices do we have? So we can take the short, microscopic, very present moment view that I can breathe in, I can breathe out, I can take a walk on a beautiful autumn afternoon and maybe find a friend to share that walk with, or find some nature to commune with, and reorganize my thoughts around what is my very next capable and compassionate and doable step. That's all we can do as individuals. And as communities, we cannot stop talking to each other. Sometimes growth looks like loss. And an example of that is trees. We're in the fall season now, and the leaves are dropping, and it looks like loss. And the green is starting to fade, and the brown is coming alive, and the temperature is dropping, and the days are getting shorter if you're here with me in the Northern Hemisphere. But too, also, therefore, decomposition feeds the forest. And sometimes a controlled burn is the thing that sparks new growth. And like a relationship that ends, its lessons live on if we allow them to. That too is progress. Walt Whitman said something to the effect of, know that what you call dissolution is in fact forward movement, new life. There's a beautiful poem by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's called Kinship. I'm going to share it with you now. Very slowly burning, the big forest tree stands in the slight hollow of the snow, melted around it by the mild, long heat of its being and its will to be root, trunk, branch, leaf, and know earth, dark, sunlight, wind touch, bird song. Rootless and restless and warm-blooded, we blaze in the flare that blinds us to that slow, tall, fraternal fire of life, as strong now as it was in the seedling centuries ago. And one of the things that I love about that poem in particular is the juxtaposition of the tree, the bare tree standing in the snow, and all that language around heat and light and warmth. And that's what progress is. It's messy. And sometimes it's dramatic and painful. And sometimes it's imperceptible. And the breath, too, can be all of those things. And mindful presence, too, can be all of those things. Let's do another sit, about 10 minutes. I'm of the school of meditation that believes that if you feel like you need to move, then move. If you feel like you need to shift or change position, do that. It's not a battle worth fighting. So wherever you are right now, in this moment, take a breath. And let it go. And in the midst of the stillness of your form, as it physically presents itself right here and right now, know that progress is alive and well. The fire of change is burning brightly. As you welcome the next breath in, imagine that it is doing the most alive, celebratory dance of life force. Picture, imagine that it is glistening inside and reflecting the miracle of everything that works inside of you to get you to the next breath. What a glorious gift we have that we can be and simultaneously know that we are being. And if we can know that we are being, then we can know that we are changing. If your mind floats away, allow it to float right back. If you have ambient sound that feels distracting in your midst, allow that to wash through you just along with the breath. Think of it as the vibration of sound waves. That too represents progress and change. Never a wrong time to reconnect with the ground that's supporting you from underneath, and to recognize that it is carrying us slowly but surely into the next moment, into the next day, toward the next sunset. And then just gather up your next inhale. And celebrate its progress as it transforms into your next exhale. Return your awareness slowly back into your surroundings. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings take refuge in the wisdom that change is happening and transformation is not just possible, but guaranteed. May all beings be at peace. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being here. I'll see you all soon. Signing off now. Take care, everybody.